The practice that changed my life. One night a few years back, I left a class and had my then boyfriend pick me up to take me home. He just happened to be in a bad mood. In fact, his bad moods were a fairly common occurrence, were beginning to wear me out. That night on the way home, we had a very upsetting argument. It reached a level of intensity that left me fearful of going home with him, and he had recently moved into my place, so I had no choice. He wasn't physically abusive, but our fights were taking a toll on my emotional health. Before we began dating, I was fairly confident. I had a balanced mindset, but now with him in the picture, I started to feel like I was losing my sense of self and forgetting what it was like to be happy. I was hurting. It wasn't all of his fault, as our relationship brought a lot of deep pain for both of us up, but we didn't know what to do to fix it. I kept wondering how I got in such a difficult situation and what I should do. I was so scared. I felt myself slipping into a depression and losing my confidence I once prided myself on. This was so unlike me. I had never fought with someone so intensely and so often in my life, and I felt stuck. That night, instead of going to bed with him, I stayed awake and wrote in my journal. I thought about my past and what had gotten me out of the hardest of situations. I dug deeper into what had really worked for me in my past. I remembered how just a few years before, I had little money, lost my job, was buried in debt, and coming out of a divorce. I had to start from the ground up. I remember being terrified. How was I going to survive? I was willing to try anything. In that moment, all of the lessons from my favorite teachers came pouring into my mind. Inspired by their wisdom, I decided to change my focus from fear to something else, and it worked. Immediately, I saw miracles and opportunities started opening up for me. Within a year, I had transformed my life. I rebuilt my career, paid off all of my debts, secured my own apartment, and felt excited to be alive. So on that night, laying awake after our fight, I remembered what my teachers had shared. I remembered what had carried me through all the trials and fear when I felt alone. My gratitude practice. A ritual that had changed everything. Not some simple thank you occasionally when things felt good. Rather, a practice of sitting down every single night to count the blessings I had. It literally went like this. Thank you so much for one client today. We had such a good conversation and I made $80 that I really needed. Thank you so much for the extra time I have today. It gives me a chance to rest, read, clean, and exercise. Thank you for the food someone brought to work. It allowed me to eat a little extra and save some money. Thank you for this time in my life. It's humbling and beautiful, and as I have learned so much, I have more time to heal and process. The thank yous would continue, and I would write as much as I could until I could cry tears of joy. And what I noticed was that the gratitude was changing my story. Soon I was writing things like, thank you so much for a busy day at work. I had 7 clients and made my goal of $800, and now I'm buying my ticket to Paris. Thank you so much for an elegant meal that I got to share with a friend at dinner tonight. Thank you so much for the opportunity to write every month for a magazine and share my views with the world. Thank you so much for my day off. It feels so good to relax after such a busy week and all the amazing opportunities happening. As my appreciation grew, so did my life. I would travel, I would eat well, I would build a savings account, I would get offered a guest spot as a columnist for a spiritual publication. Then I got distracted in a new relationship and started to forget the power of gratitude as he and I began to disagree. In the heat of a fight, I realized the appreciation I lost, and so I went back to journaling my gratitude with deep thanks. While I felt confused about him and really many areas of my life, I knew I would find my security and clarity. I knew what held me through it all, the power of gratitude. I didn't have all of the answers, but I did know that I needed to change my perspective to find the blessings, and that the rest would unfold naturally and in harmony with my life. My life would again change, ending in healing from that relationship to creating a whole new journey where I'd fall in love, start life coaching, and travel more often. I'm living the life I dreamed of in every way. The power of gratitude isn't just a lofty thank you. It's not just an occasional appreciation. Gratitude is a reverence for life. It's a change in perspective. It's an attractive force that brings more blessings. It's the belief that I am complete and that all things have value. It's acknowledging that in this moment, I can feel appreciation for everything as it is because it's a gift to be human and feel whatever it is I feel. There's no time in life that we can't have gratitude. In fact, the hardest of times can often be where we discover the most gratitude and connection in life. It's where we see the cycles of life and accept the fate of how it is. It's my goal to feel gratitude as much as I can. I write daily in several gratitude journals and think about how good it is to live my life as it is every day. I cry more often these days thinking about how extraordinary things are for me. Even when I'm scared or stressed, I come back to what I know, that this moment is worth appreciating. My trials have been some of the best teachers, and I now know that I will be okay with gratitude in my heart. Thank you.